Ready for the video?
I am.
Let's get it. Present practice. What is vibing? This is Vish and
Heaven, Firestone.
And today we'll be responding to Sadhguru's video
On what you think about heaven and hell.
So today I'm here with Heaven, actually. Want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Heaven, Firestone, the one and only. So I am a cinematographer. I have been traveling all over, creating content for people and small businesses for their social media. And then as a hobby, I also do travel photography and cinematography.
Nice.
So it's pretty fun.
And where are you from originally?
I am originally from Michigan, but I have lived all over, everywhere.
Okay.
I am gypsy, so I travel a lot.
Okay.
And it's pretty incredible.
Nice. And have you heard of Sadhguru himself before?
I have not until I watched one of your YouTubes with a friend, Emma Pennington, and so I watched that, and it's pretty interesting.
Sweet. So before we start, I guess briefly, how would you describe your view on heaven and hell?
That's weird because my name is Heaven. Well, I was raised religious in Christianity, so I always thought of it as being a physical place. And now getting into more integrated spirituality, I'm kind of just on the verge, like opening up to seeing, hearing, feeling more possibilities. I still believe that it is a place, even if it's not on this plane, maybe like spiritually, but you know, I don't know. Nothing is in stone. So
okay, well,
so really,
I appreciate you sharing that, and would love to hear what you think about heaven or hell in the comments down below. With that, Sadhguru's a yogi, mystic, and visionary.
Let's get into the video.
Namaste Sadhguru.
Namaskaram.
I'm Harshita. My question to you is, what do you think about the concept of hell or heaven?
See, those who have made a hell out of themselves are always aspiring to go to heaven. Yes. If I am sitting here and I'm blissed out totally, look at my eyes. It looks like I'm always stoned. Yes, never touched a substance, but this is the most complex chemical factory in the world. Is that so? Do you agree with me? The question is only, are you a great CEO or a lousy CEO of this chemical factory? If you are a great CEO, you would keep this all the time, blissed out, right chemistry. If you're a lousy CEO, you produce bad chemistry and you think it's because of this one or that one or that one. So, for some reason people are feeling miserable. Their chemical factory is not going the way they want. They can call it sadness, they can call it misery, they can call it depression. So, when this is feeling like hell, we hope that somewhere when we go up there, that everything will be fantastic. Harshita means, blissed out. So, this happened in Alabama. You know Alabama state? It's a special state. It's a different kind of state, hardcore religious state. So in a Sunday school teacher was going all out, full rhetoric, full force. And unfortunately, the audience were not like you, they were all tiny tots. It's a catch them young policy. In his full rhetoric, he was going and children were sitting like this. Suddenly he stopped for dramatic impact. He stopped and he said, "What do you have to do to go to heaven?" Little Mary in the front bench stood up and said, "If I mop the church floor every Sunday morning, I will go to heaven." Absolutely. Another little girl out there said, if I share my pocket money with my less privileged friend, I will go to heaven. Correct. Another boy said, If I help people who are in need, I will go to heaven. Correct. Little Tommy in the back bench stood up and said, "You gotta die first."
Wow, so Heaven, what do you think so far of this?
That is pretty spot on. Like growing up in the church, that is pretty much what they told you. And they try to say you live through like your good deeds, which I believe if you're right with your spirituality, then you are already doing these good deeds just because that is something you want to do. You're not doing it to earn your way into anything. And I think it's just incredible.
Awesome, well thank you for sharing that. And I love the analogies he gives and also like the stories he provides to get a point across. Let's find out more as to what he has to say about this.
Absolutely.
Well, that's a qualification. If you want to go to heaven, you got to die first. So when you die, depending on your culture, we will either bury you or burn you or cut you and throw you to the birds. Yes, one of these things we will do, depending on your culture. So one thing is very clear, you will put your body back into the earth and it's a very eco-friendly thing to do. So you left your body and went to heaven. So, what is in heaven? In Hindu heaven, food is very good. If you are a foodie, you must go to Hindu heaven. Nala himself will cook personally for you. He's the greatest chef. If you go to another kind of heaven, white-gowned ladies will float around in the clouds. If you like that kind of ambience, you go there. If you go to another heaven, you will have virgin problems. If that's what you're looking for, you go there. But you went there without the body. What do you do with good food and virgins, I'm asking? Hello? You don't have a body, these are all bodily problems, isn't it? No body, what do you do with food and virgins? In the Hindu way of life, there is a thing, up there in heaven, there is an Akshaya Patra. How much ever you eat, food will always be full. Well, when you go without a body, food will always remain full in the vessel. And they will always remain virgins. So, we have been doing this for a long time. This was one simple way. You must understand the managerial skills of the traditional people. This was a way of managing humanity. You're miserable. You… don't worry, when you go there, everything will be okay. Solace. So if it is a psychologist saying these things, it's okay. But you really made them believe everything is going to be better somewhere, you can mess up your life here, that's not good. Somebody is in deep state of suffering, don't worry, when you go and sit in God's lap, everything will be okay. It's a psychological tool. It's fine when people are in extreme states, but don't brand it and sell it everywhere because it's not going to work like that. So, now heavens are collapsing in people's minds. Why there is such an increase of consumption of alcohol and drugs on the planet is mainly because still people are not articulating it, but in their minds, heavens are collapsing. How many of you are thinking, one day when I go to heaven, everything will be fantastic? Not many of you, I'm sure. But in the previous generation, if you had looked, the numbers were quite significant. So heavens are obviously collapsing in human mind, because if you ask three questions, all the three heavens will collapse. Yes. So now once human intellect became active, inevitably it'll ask questions. If you ask questions, these things will collapse. So people are trying to have alternatives right here, that they're getting drunk and drugged right here. To be healthy, they need chemicals. To be peaceful, they need chemicals. To be joyful, they need chemicals. For everything, they need chemicals. I want you to know this, 70% of US population is on prescription medication. The most affluent nation on the planet. Why does individuals and society seek affluence? Because the first step of affluence is choice of food, choice of nourishment. The second step of affluence is choice of lifestyles. The most incredible variety of food is in front of you and enormous lifestyle choices are there, and in this society, 70% of the people are on pharmaceutical, prescription medication. This clearly shows if you do economic development without also cultivating human consciousness, our wealth will become our biggest problem. So we are still on the threshold of economic development. This is the time where we have to invest in evolving human consciousness. So if individual evolution in terms of becoming conscious doesn't happen, you will see 90% of the population will fall into chemicals. When they fall into chemicals, I'm not talking about this as a moral thing. If 90% of the human population goes on constant usage of chemicals, the next generation that we produce will be a generation which will be much less than who we are. And that's a crime against humanity. Every generation, the next generation that comes, must be at least one notch better than who we are. If we produce a generation less than us, then we have committed a crime against humanity, we have taken humanity backwards. And that is what will happen if chemical usage multiplies and it is going wild. This is the time to raise consciousness, that's why we are here with you. To blow your mind without cocaine.
What'd you think of the video?
That was incredible. I got chills and goosebumps. He's brilliant, and it's just the level of consciousness. I feel like we as a human race are evolving and people are becoming more aware, and you create your own heaven and hell. And I think that that's something that I've been realizing, and maybe it is for people, a place that they go to, or they create their own heaven here or their own hell here. And just the way he said it and was talking about how the heavens are collapsing in people's minds, like I felt that, and I feel like the world is feeling that.
Wow, I love that, and thank you for connecting that, because I resonate with you there too. It's interesting, it's a very powerful statement, and this isn't to take away from people who have beliefs. I think there is a place and even a time for that with religion, and especially in the previous times. But now, I mean, whether we like it or not, I'm not endorsing this or not, putting it down, but heavens are kind of collapsing. People are really not giving into religion as much as they used to. And so people are, I guess, turning more inwards, but also, I guess in that process, they're also turning to things like drugs and all these chemicals, which might not be as sustainable in terms of even going inwards. What do you think about that?
I think that it is hard for people to handle because they've believed one thing for so long, for, eons and eons, ancestors and generations. It was like a Band-Aid, basically, that's just like ripped off of people's like third eye or their consciousness. And now they're just like having to take it all in, and it is a lot. And I think it's going to be something that, it's going to make or break us. And like you said, every generation we have to leave better. And just slapping on Band-Aids and prescriptions and, religion that doesn't really give you freedom of thought, it won't be just the heavens that collapse. I believe it would be our society.
Yeah, no, that's spot on. It's so cool to hear his kind of analogies and stories, and what I really do like about him or appreciate about him is that he doesn't usually force you to believe in this or believe in that. He kind of just shares how things are the way it is, and then it's almost like up to you, like whether you agree with it, disagree with it, that's up to you. And I really appreciate the whole idea of like letting the other person explore, right, on their own. Because I think, saying one thing is fine, like you listen to it, but there's a difference between understanding something, or first off hearing something, understanding something, and then realizing something.
Yep.
Is that something you can connect to?
Definitely. It's hard to perform your own thoughts when you're thinking about, this thing like that you don't know, you are so unsure of, and the way that he puts it into words, it's like taking what's in here and just like putting it in human concept. And it's just, I don't know, I'm baffled. I might have to watch that video again.
Okay. Yeah, appreciate you first off for being here, and I would love to hear what you all think about heaven or hell. Has your view changed? In the comments down below. And don't forget to check out Heaven. Also, will be down below in the description. And with that, make a great day, take it joyfully, and stay conscious. Awesome job. There we go.
Thank you. That was
That was
so
awesome.
fun.